Hi all, this is Johnny Crest coming to you with just kind of a short and sweet shout out video and kind of a video talking about a few things that are going on in YouTube and internet land. So the first thing I want to talk about is a list I made that is growing in popularity on the forums. It's my 2500 point Mindrazor Ghoul King list, and it's being used by a couple pretty good players on the forums besides myself. One of which being Luke Davis. He does his own YouTube channel. I encourage you to go check it out. He does a lot of battle reports, a lot of vampire counts, battle reports, Bretonia, warriors, even some Empire and ogres every now and then. You know, if you're into ogre games. But where was I? Oh, yeah. But he's just one of the people who've been trying out my list. And pretty much what the list was based around was GW's most current FAQ. Changed the wording of Mindrazor. So now Mindrazor no longer cares about what your leadership stat is. Now it cares about what your leadership is. So now Inspiring Presence works, Doom and Darkness works, or if Dark Majesty works, things that either raise or lower your leadership now work for Mindrazor. But what you need to kind of take away from this is now that vampire counts can actually use Mindrazor, because before we were all leadership 5, leadership 4 on our core, and Mindrazor did nothing for us. Now Mindrazor actually is a great boon, because a Vampire Lord or a Ghoul King is leadership 9 or leadership 10. And a skeleton can now be leadership 9. So there's that. Now what the list is a Ghoul King with Master of the Black Arts, Fencer's Blade, Dragonbane Gem, and Dispel Scroll. He's just kind of a cheap little character who all he does is help me get a good magic phase, because vampire counts have lost everything they had that allowed us to produce power dice. So now we're just stuck re-rolling the wins dice, which is kind of like playing Russian roulette, but with the Ghoul King it becomes a little bit easier. And then there's a level 4 Master Necromancer on Death. Nothing else on him. There's no real reason to have anything else on him. He stands with his buddy the Ghoul King and has a leadership 9 Spirit Leech. And he just kind of stays out of combat. And yeah, he lives. Then there's a baby Necromancer with the Cursed Book on Lore of Vampires. He stays with the Ghoul King too. He's my backup caster in case anything goes wrong. And he's just there for a little bit of damage control if I need it. Then there's a level 2 Shadow Vampire with Charm Shield, Talisman of Endurance, Heavy Armor, and Red Fury. He's a mini blender, but also he's a frontline caster, and that's what I really care about, him being a frontline caster. And then there is another Shadow Vampire with Armor, Fortune, Shield, and Red Fury. So they're pretty much mirror builds, except one has Charm Shield. And they serve the exact same role. And they go in one in each of my infantry units. Then, core is 40 ghouls with the Ghast, because ghouls are amazing. They're still our best core by far. 20 zombies, Muso standard, really just your run-of-the-mill thing. They're the bunker that the Ghoul King and the Necromancers hide in. Then there's 50 skeletons with spears, full command, and I think a banner. I haven't looked at the list, and some people are changing it around. Some give them banner, some don't. Personally, I don't really give my skeletons a magic banner unless it's flaming banner and I know I'm facing trolls. But really, I don't think I'd give them a banner. But either way, that rounds out your core. Then for special, we see 2 single bases of spirit hosts who are pretty much there to sit in front of the 2 combat blocks and get themselves charged and killed with crumble. And because they're killed with crumble, you can't overrun on them, which means next turn I have pretty much an easy charge into you. And then I have a whole magic phase before combat phase. So that's what they're there for. They're there to run interference between my combat blocks. Then there's 2 units of 2 Fellbats. They're pretty much there for the exact same reason, but they can also do some War Machine hunting or, anything I need them to do. Yeah, just anything I need them to do. And then the list rounds itself out with 2 Mortis Engines. Now they sit behind all my blocks, but kind of stay within my cube, because the list is pretty much a cube that pushes down the center of the board and fights whatever comes near it. 2 hordes, a little bunker behind the 2 hordes, and 2 Mortis Engines behind those hordes. And then the bats protect the Mortis Engine flank and pop out if I need them to, and Spirit Host in front. Mortis Engines double bubble the regen, so my entire army will have 5-up regen if I don't roll poorly. And then it also applies little bits of damage that with Shadow and Death debuffs actually turn into a lot of damage. Because before it's like a couple Strength 3 hits, woohoo. But the second you're Toughness 2, Toughness 1, those Strength 3 hits actually start to hurt. So that is pretty much the list. Now you may be saying it doesn't have a lot of drops. It doesn't have a lot of fancy tricks. It doesn't need a lot of fancy tricks. It is at its heart a combat vampire counts list. All you want to do is push at your opponent until you are in their face, get into the fight, and then cast the magic so that it balances everything out and your core starts actually beating their core, which is crazy for vampire counts. Our core can't fight the way out of a paper bag, but a Strength 9 skeleton can, with a 5-up regen. He can fight his way out of a paper bag. So that's pretty much the list. Any vampire counts players out there, if you're a little skeptical on it, I encourage you to try it. It is a very, very strong list. It's a list I built in mind for tournaments. It's not a list I built because I'm like, ooh, I want to try out skeletons in Mindrazor. No, it's a tournament vampire council list, and I built it accordingly. It does struggle on some matchups where I'm having problems catching someone like a Wood Elf player, but Undead already struggle in that matchup, so whatever. A few other quick things. First off, congratulations Tom Richards for your Necromunda videos. I love Necromunda. I've tried to start playing it a number of times. It never caught on in my group, but I've been really enjoying them, so congratulations on that. I can't wait for more. If you're not familiar with Tom Richards, go check out Tom Richards. He inspired me to do not only Warhammer videos, but the style of Warhammer I play, which is take no prisoners, cutthroat, hardcore Warhammer. You know, the good stuff. And also, just one last thing, a shout out to Surreal Beliefs. Surreal Beliefs is doing a thing right now where he's giving us smaller YouTubers a chance to kind of break into his audience, and his audience is huge because he's awesome. So just shout out to him and a thank you to him. And I think that is all I really have to talk about. So until next time, goodbye.